Hello, I'm EnterElysium. Welcome back, of course, to Aurora 4X, the Dwarf Fortress in space. I've skipped forwards a couple of months since the last episode, and a few things have happened. Firstly, we finished retooling for the Washington class, so I've started producing the Washington, New York, and Los Angeles. They're going to take a little while, but they will be done next year. We also have run out of Macassium on Earth. We'll have to deal with that in a second, but we've also finished our research into the reduced research size. So, actually, we've zoomed in on the wrong one. There we go. Make the star the center. Thank you. We need to go to missiles, kinetics, and we need to grab box launcher. 15% size, 15 times reload, but no internal reload. It's 10,000 points. We're going to do everything we can to mainline that, and that will be done in October of this year. Once that's done, we can start pushing things out. Would it be faster if we move a thing from you and add it here? 30 September? Sure. All 37 research labs given over to you. That seems to work for me. We'll also probably want to line up ordnance production under a matching scientist. And I will give you one research lab. And then we'll take that research lab away, just so we've got this queued up, so I remember. There. Okay. Now, Macassium. We're out of Macassium on Earth. We're going to need this. Macassium. We have Brooks. Good amount of Sorium there as well. Good amount of Neutronium. All good accessibility. 1.71. We've also got Shmash, which is decent. Comasola, reasonable. I'm not hurting for Macassium too much. I will probably go for Brooks though, nonetheless. So, we will have a quick check of civilians. They haven't been moving infrastructure because they have no one to move infrastructure with, because they spent all their money on colony ships. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way. We're going to select our freighters. Oh, you're still doing Magnaut Russell. Because it's so far away, it's taking you quite a while to do your trip. Damn. Okay. We need civilians to actually be helpful. Okay. Macassium. Brooks. Create colony. Close. Reopen. Earth. Civilians. Supply 20 automated mines. Supply 1 mass driver. Brooks. Demand 20 automated mines. And demand 1 mass driver. And then we're going to go up here, and we're going to do a very dangerous thing. We're going to hit add shipping line. Oh, but that's SM only. No, we'll just give you more money. You'll probably be terrible, sure. We'll subsidize you by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll give you 10,000 more wealth. And we'll get going on that. They launch more colony ships. God damn it. Stop doing that. We got a sensor and fire control research person. 10%. That's a start. But god damn it. You spent all your money on more colony ships. This is very frustrating. I just need someone to build a freighter. I gave them 10,000 wealth as well. And what did they do? That. Okay. Calm. Uprising Mars, let's have crowding. Can't do anything about that. Stop taking people to Mars! I can actually stop this. I think I might. If we go to Earth and we click civilian, we can click stable, which means that they won't take people from here. You can click destination, which means they'll take people to here. Source of colonists, which means they'll take people from here. Or stable, which means it will no longer provide civilians. Which means that no longer will these colony ships be able to pick up people here. Which we desperately need. Right. I think we'll carry on. Okay. Civilian mining colony has been established on Stephen Ortimer. Stephen Ortimer. You've got 2 civilian mines. You already had one, but you... No, you didn't. Aha, and there is no mass driver here. Unlike some of these other places where the civilians have kindly given me a mass driver, there is none on Stephen Ortimer. Wait. No, they will if I click purchase miller output. There we go. There. They've given me a mass driver. It's very kind of them. We're going to send the stuff back home. Right. That's all good. Everything here is hunky-dory. Right. Now, we are looking at the box launcher being done in end of September, so a couple months away. Okay. Still a lot of unrest going on. What I will do is I'll try and subsidize them again and see what they spend the money on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Please don't spend it on another leading colony ship. Freighters, please. Research lab. Okay, right. At this stage, that research lab doesn't really make much of a difference. We'll get a few and we'll put them over on laminate composite armor. Neujamin, another civilian. The civilians are doing well right now. Neujamin. 3 civilian mine. Okay. We're spending a lot of money here. But it provides Saurium. Not much of it. They're actually going to run out of that pretty quick. It's only 27,000 there. But hey, that's their problem. I'll take the Saurium while I've got it. You've got your secondary orders. As per secondary orders, that's all good. New jump point found in the glass box system. That's fine. Mars is apparently has no longer any reason for unrest. Probably because people have left because they can't fit in there. Failures. They launch more colony ships. I can't believe they did that. They actually launched more colony ships. They actually have nothing to do right now, and they launch more colony ships. They just want... Just... Stop it. Stop it. We did the box launcher, but stop. Please stop. Please stop now. Okay, let's get ordnance production rate. Sprint that. And then we'll give the other ones to you for that laminate composite armor. So that'll be done next year. We can design our very first military ship, though. So, let's look at quick design tech. I need to check if I've got everything for the magazine. I think we do. We do. Great. Okay. So, new. This is going to be the YouTube name convention. Escorts, named after mammals. I might change... Oh, space phenomena. Individual names, no. Sure. That's fine. So they don't have individual names. Might change you to song lyrics / titles. Just because that would be kind of fun. I want the Don't Fear the Reaper class. Don't Stop Me Now class. There's a lot of good classes to be had. So space phenomena. These are going to be nascent enough space phenomena. And what should our first fact be called? Nebula? Black hole? Neutron star? Solar flare? What should we call them? Pulsar. It could be the pulsar. Pulsar seems to be a good option. People suggesting pulsar. Okay, so we'll rename you as the pulsar. And this will be a FAC. Fast Attack Craft. And I might just actually designate you specifically as a fast patrol craft because you're going to have a very limited range. Now, in terms of design view, you are going to be less than 1,000 tons, which means you can do away with the bridge. If you're small enough, you don't need a bridge. That's one of the important rules. We also don't need a large fuel storage. That's way too big. Okay, let's start doing this. So, tech design. Firstly, we go to missile launcher. And we go here, standard size and reload rate. We're going to create a box launcher. We want the missile launcher size to be size 6, so it can have our Eagle missiles in board. And the reload rate honestly doesn't matter. But it's cheaper if we have a lower reload rate, despite the fact that, remember, it can't reload by itself. It can only reload when it goes home. Or in a hangar, which technically you can put a FAC in a hangar. So, with that, we have a size 6 box launcher. Nothing else really matters. In fact, literally don't really need to change this name. I will just change to a size 6 S6 box launcher. So SL, BL, and we might just put, for the sake of it, reload rate 1. And this is ship-based. So box launcher. I think we just leave it like that. That's good. I will instant that. Now note that it only takes a total of 0.9 hull size, so that's 45 tons. Remember, these things don't need to go very far. They need to pack a punch though. And ideally be fast, because they are interdiction craft. They need to be able to get to the enemy. So we want speed in this. We want killing ability in this, ideally some. That's not going to be a lot. Okay, we've got 10 size 6 missiles in our box launcher. And we are now half the size. Now, remember the general rule of thumb that a third of your ship, maybe a little bit more, should be engine and fuel? That leaves us with half our ship being engine and fuel. We are short on a couple of things, though, which we're going to need to cut down on. Firstly, we need sensors. Secondly, we need a missile targeting array of some kind. So if we go to our active sensor, you'll notice that that is actually out of date. We have got a better sensor, so we're going to obsolete that. Design tech. We're up to set strength 16. That was a strength 10, so 60% increase in strength. And we want the minimum resolution to be able to target. We know the enemy has 1,000-ton vessels. We know that is the case. What is the distance from Earth to Nori? 16... okay, that's pretty far. 1,500 million. And 2,500 million. Yeah. Total sensor size. Maybe crank this up to like a 3. Remember, our missiles actually have a range of 80 million. So to really get our range up to 80 million, we're talking, you know, a sensor that big. To be able to see an enemy at range. But, again, the size of the sensor is larger than the entire FAC. We're going to need to do something here. And that is, we might change the minimum resolution. Change it to, my normal go-to is like 9,000 tons. And then we can change the size down, but we're still going to have issues, because if we change the size down to, say, there we go. It's a 400-ton sensor. That's just not viable. Not on a patrol craft. So our patrol craft are going to be firing these missiles at well under their maximum range normally. The alternative is we give them a craft with them who is just sensor, basically like an AWAC. The craft just travels with them, no gun, just a big sensor, and allows them to detect enemies. That's one option. Now, while we think about that, we will need a missile fire control. This is active sensors / missile fire control. So we change this to missile fire control. And we need to have this able to target enemies at a little bit over 80. How many tons is this? 125. Change it to 100 tons. It's still not taking full advantage of the range. Kind of tempted to leave it at 150 tons, but that is a big sensor. The advantage by having it larger than the missile range, by the way, is that if an enemy has any electronic warfare stuff, it will reduce the range of the missile fire control, but not the missile. So if it reduces it to the missile's range, we can still fire the missile at its full range. If it has a sensor range of the missile's range of 80 million, and it's reduced, the missile won't be able to fire until it gets closer. So it's good to have a little bit of spare there. I don't think we will, just because we are really hard pressed for space. So we'll go for an exact 80 million. And we're going to call you a MFC, Missile Fire Control, with a fire control of 80 million at a resolution of 180. That's 180 in hull size, which is actually 9,000 tons. So that's 9 kiloton at 80 million kilometers. In fact, I'm just going to completely rewrite that name. Missile Fire Control, and I will include the weight of the fire control as well. It's 125 tons. So the missile fire control is 125 tons. It can see 9 kilotons at 80 million kilometers. I think it's good. It will be able to see a 1,000-ton object at less than a million. Please bear that in mind, because that means that if there are 1,000-ton little Gwynnids show up, we will be firing at them at 1 million. Not 80. Eek. If we change that minimum resolution, though, you'll notice that... I'm going to just copy this so that I don't have to type it back in again. If we change that minimum resolution down... This is why facts are annoying. Notice our range is severely cut. That's bad. Because to make this big enough, we'd need to go much larger. We're going to set it back to 9,000 tons. And hopefully they won't send their fax at us. Again, these are just system defense boats, but it depends what they throw at us. We're going to... instant that. This is why I have the tab over here. We are going to put the missile fire control into the ship. We're going to need an active sensor as well. We're going to do the same resolution, 9,000 tons. $200 tons is just a lot of sensor. We might rely on inner system sensors of some kind. I go 100 tons. Maybe we even bring that down a little bit. Nah. It's gonna have to do. Okay. And you are a active search sensor, so an AS at 100 tons with a target of 9,000 tons at 21 million kilometers. And we will instant that as well. $300 tons left. With the 300 tons, we're probably going to want to have probably a large fuel reserve. Oh, no, not a large fuel reserve. Sorry, normal fuel reserve. And then my guess is a 200-ton engine. Now, we're going to go back to our mass. So remember that we had that equation that we used a while back, which is your velocity is equal to your EP times your divided by your mass times 50,000, or whatever it is. I have it in front of me. And we're going to use that because we need to have this be a relatively fast craft. It needs to be able to respond, it needs to be able to get places. It doesn't need to be fuel efficient. We can actually ignore the fuel efficiency quite a lot. So yeah, velocity equals EP over mass times 50,000. So if we bring up a calculator, we want a velocity of, say, 50,000. We need to know what our EP is. So, not 50,000, sorry. We want a velocity of at least 5,000. So say we want 6,000 in terms of our velocity. So this is going to be a 6, 1, 2, 3, divided by 1,000, because that's going to be the final mass. And then, oh, that's times by that, sorry. So that'll be 6 million. It's 6,000 times by 1,000. And then divided by 50. 1, 2, 3, 50,000. We need 120 EP. So design tech. Engine. We know the size needs to be about 200. And the EP needs to be 120 ideally. Look at that. We're using 5 times the fuel almost. This is going to be a painful engine. We can cut that down a little bit to probably there. 106 EP roughly. So you are the, again, this is going to be a military engine, so military MPD with a 200 ton and an F of 212. So far, we've been talking about Fs of 5 and 10. This is a lot higher. We'll instant that up. And we will put it in. 1,000 tons. Good speed. Armor, that's an issue. The craft has no armor. We can't really make that engine smaller, though. We could drop a box launcher. Again, we could. We drop like 2 box launchers. We'd be able to get armor 3. But that would require losing a quarter of our strength. I don't think that's viable. We've got a range of 5 billion kilometers, which is 9 days at full power. So, yeah, you can make like, that's 10 billion, right? So yeah, it can make all the jump points. It can't make it any further, really. I'm okay with that. That's actually the limit of how low I'd go. But I'm okay with that. Now, there is another option, and that is if we put those back in, we go to our engine, we take our size down to 3, save an extra 50 tons there, and engine power, we crank this up to 96. Yeah, that F goes up to 300. That's cutting our range too much. Yeah, that's the minimum we can do on the engine, and that's pushing it as it is. I'm going to say I'm good with 1 layer of armor, and we'll lose 1 missile. I wouldn't go any worse than that. Now, here we have a military ship. We can tweak the deployment time if we want. It's currently got 3 months deployment time. Again, we've only got enough engine power for 9 days. So I don't think we're going to want that. In fact, we might even want to reduce that to 1, which would allow us to get an extra layer of armor in. Yeah, that seems to be sensible. That's 1 month. This ship can be out of dock for 1 month. I think it's good. So, important things to note. We have ourselves missile launchers. If you have a missile launcher, you have to have a missile fire control. More the better. We are very tight for space and weight, so obviously we're just sticking with 1. Secondly, you want to have armor. We we've got 3 armor. That's a minimum military vessel, really. 3rd, engine. 4th, you need fuel for the engine, obviously. 5th, if you are firing weapons, you need an active search sensor. I know you may have a missile fire control, but you need an active search sensor. This is the thing that is your radar. Your missile fire control is effectively your lock-on that radar. You need both of them to be able to get any shots. You need an active sensor to be able to take any shots whatsoever. To do anything, barring like 2 or 3 things, you need an active sensor. And then of course you need normally a bridge. We're a fact, we don't need a bridge. That saves us a little bit of space. We need an engineering space, which is way overdoing it. Our maintenance life is ridiculous, but without an engineering space, we will be on an average failure rate of iffy. This is possible. We could actually run this, but we would have no way to fix anything that goes wrong. We'd only be out of dock for a short period of time, though, so it's something we could consider, but for 50 tons, I'm not sure if it's worth it or not. Average failure rate of... You know what? I'm going to play it risky. This is maybe not the first ship you should build. I think it's worth it. Ships don't fail when they're in port. They only fail when they leave port. Again, we'd only be out of port for like a month. Hell, we'd run out of fuel after 9 days of travel. Our range is 4.5 billion. 4.5 billion will get us here. It wouldn't even get us to that jump point. Okay, I guess we do need more fuel. You're joking. Can we get like a small fuel in? We can. I guess that's 5.4 billion. That's enough to get to a jump point. Sod it. I think we'll lose one of those launchers for an actual fuel storage. That we've got 9 billion. I think that's really the minimum I want to. Yeah, there we go. 9 billion is a better choice. It gives us a little bit more flexibility. We have technically 10 tons left, so could we get another fuel storage, a small one? Yeah. Okay. So that brings us up to 9.8 billion. 10 billion. I feel more comfortable with that. It's still a very short range, don't get me wrong. We actually have a 200% annual failure rate, so twice a year, so every 6 months something will fail. And we have nothing to repair that with. Now, most of the time that is going to be something like a missile launcher, or maybe even a search sensor. Nothing that will destroy the ship. If it is an engine, the ship will suddenly be stranded, and we will be in trouble. But if it's anything else, well, it will make the ship have to go back to port. It's unlikely to kill the ship. The engine will kill the ship, though, because it will not be able to go anywhere. However, it does save us tonnage, and it will only be up for such a short period of time. The chances of that happening are 1 in 6. If we have a lot of facts, it will happen, but it's worth the risk. Ideally, I would have the fighter engineering space, which is tiny, but this is just overkill. The downside is if I do this, I can't... they'd only be out for a short period of time. We'll risk it. So, this is the Pulsar fast patrol craft. One last thing we need to do is we need to go over to Ordnance of Fighters, because it has a capacity for missiles. And you'll notice that this is it. It can't take any more missiles. The reason being is it has 7 box launchers. It can store missiles in its box launchers. It doesn't have a magazine to store them in. So we would like you to have 7 Eagles in you at all time. We're good. Everything's done. We're going to lock this in. Lock design. Oh, did I forget to do something on the Washington? I did. I forgot to mark the Washington as a tanker. If I change that now, will that propagate to ships already being built? Because some things do. Normally don't do that. I could just create a mod and then literally click the tanker button. The reason is that the Washingtons are fuel harvester. It's also a tanker. If you click the tanker button, it will designate the ship as a fuel tanker. This allows the ship to carry out fuel delivery orders. I think it will propagate. We'll click it. Okay. So mark all your tankers as tankers. Similarly, mark supply ships as supply ships. Colliers, which are basically ammo storage ships, as colliers. We should be fine. So, if we go over to Shipyard, Manage Shipyard, Kilimanjaro, you've never built anything. Which luckily means if we retool for the PC Pulsar, you're suddenly ready. And we can start building them. And they'll be ready May of next year. Now, of course, we can try and speed this up by pre-building some of the parts. Namely, if we have a quick look at how much they cost. Most of the cost is in the box launchers. Well, that's somewhat to be expected. Then it's the engine. And after that, relatively easy. I think we might pre-build some box launchers just for the next tranche of these. For now, though, we're just going to get them to build 10. So these don't have individual names, so you're the Pulsar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then for the industry, we will tell them that they're going to have to build some parts for our ships. It's 10% unused construction. So we will go to ship components. I would like you to build 10 of these engines. And then, where's the box launcher? There we go. 70 box launchers, which is enough for all of the next ships. And I'll maybe change that from 10%. What could we replace that with? Oh, that's a lot of money coming in. Excellent. Financial centers. You can go down to 10%. Who else can do that? Construction factories. Yeah, it sucks to reduce construction factories, but I will. Box launcher, change to 20%. And then engine, change to 20%. So by doing this, we're building the ships, or parts of the ships, so the next tranche, when they start to get built, will suddenly be like, hey, we have parts ready, we can use those. And they'll build them a lot faster. We still need to check, though, on our missiles. So if we check stockpiles, you see that we've got 233 Eagles already. Okay, that'll do. Remember that each of our ships has 7 on board, which means 20 ships in total. We need 140 and another 140 for reloads if we need them, which we will. We will. I might actually just change this to get another 500 built. Sorry, you thought you were done. No chance, mate. Okay. Our first military ship is being created. Speaking of which, the last election was won by a militaristic faction. The first Imperial Minister, wrong button, would like it if we were to increase militancy, and we will increase militancy by 15. I know it was 20 and 15 last time. We're going to change it to 15 and 10, just to keep that going, and then increase xenophobia by 10. So, xenophobia is very high. Save that in. And unrest is rising on Mars. Of course it is. Construction of box launchers begun. We finished doing the engine already. Construction of mine completed on Earth. We completed our construction of mines. Interesting. That is a bold decision. We're almost out of titanium. Okay. I guess, do we want more mines? We probably still want more mines. Yeah. I'm down for like another 200. They're worth it. We can move them to Mars eventually. And you can also convert mines into automated mines, and vice versa if you need to. Okay, we researched ordnance production. That's going to help us get more missiles. We completed box launchers. Great. They finally launched a freighter. Thank God. Mitchell Container Group have launched a small class freighter. Excellent. Thank you. Finally. I'm going to give you some more money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There. Finally. Okay. With that, research, active sensor and fire control. I think we need to start going for... Either we need to go for lasers or gauze. Gauze is better at shooting down incoming missiles in the early game because it fires multiple shots. Lasers are generally a better anti-ship weapon, and also in the mid-game are pretty good at shooting down as well. That's a tough choice. If we go over here, you'll notice that we have gauze cannon rate of fire 1, which means it fire 1 shot every 5 seconds, and then you can get that going up, and you get like 6 shots every 5 seconds, which could potentially take down 6 missiles. Unlikely to. Gauze cannon launch velocity. Also, this is the high velocities, better accuracy, longer ranges, etc. We do a missile connect person as well. Yeah, I'm feeling the gauze. I'm feeling the gauze. We will put you on there. And it will also train you up, which will be very helpful. It'll take you all of 25 days to learn that. Right. What else did we get? Construction's complete. 20% unused. I feel that 20% we're going to redistribute to the construction. So you can now go back to 20%. And probably... You know what? Military Academy. If we're expanding our military, we need to expand our military academies. Do we have military academies we're working on? No. So we would like ourselves another 2 military academies. And what they will do is they will train officers and normal crew. Which, speaking of, is a good shout. If we go over to the Pulsar, you'll note that we have rank info. This means the minimum class and rank priority, blah, 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 blah. This means that for someone to command a Pulsar, which is only a FAC, they need to be a captain. That's a bit of a waste of a good rank person, so we're actually going to change this, and I'm probably going to change this to a commander. So, this is a priority. Effectively, if there are 2 ships that need a commander, it'll randomize between them at rank 0. If one of them's a 1, it'll assign them to the 1 first. Name type... No, we don't need that. Okay. We're good. I can do that even when it's locked. And we will carry on. Ah, they launched more colony ships. Gave them more money, and what did they do? They made more colony ships. At least they have 1 freighter, but dear lord. Really? You've been all assigned your other orders, that's fine. We did gauze fire rate. God damn it. We'll grab fire rate 2. Because you really need to get to at least fire rate 2 before this comes any kind of use. Oh, did I just accidentally instant it? I accidentally instant it. Oh well. It's not the worst thing in the world because, to be honest, we started behind everyone else, so... But I accidentally just gave ourselves a 2000 RP technology. Not that that matters too much. Everyone else got a massive advantage on us. We will do the launch velocity. This is the problem with having SM on. If you have Space Master on all the time, you'll eventually accidentally click a button. Okay, you're still doing your jobs. Overcrowding. We built the Los Angeles, the New York, and the Washington. Great. So, those are our fuel ships. We do need fuel. So we're going to take them. We're going to split the task group. We're going to rename task group, and this is going to be Fuel Fleet Sol. And I would like you to primary order Move to gas giant with Saurium. There we go. Move to gas giant with Saurium. Condition. When your fuel is full, I would like you to unload fuel at Colony and move to Saurium gas giant. No, unload 90% fuel at Colony. Yes. That way they'll keep 10% left, which is, because they're tankers, these are tanker rollers, fuel 10%. Tankers try to have a minimum amount of fuel in them and then run around and refuel to max, but they realize they don't need that fuel. They are happy to dump it. So, you're all good. And I think you don't need to do anything else. So, yeah, I'm happy with you. They'll start heading for Jupiter. Meanwhile, we do need to build more of those. So, Washington, 1, 2, 3. And we will actually tell you to build extra slipways, because we're going to need a fair few. We also could build ourselves an asteroid miner. And I think that's probably a very good call. Because we have had issues with trying to get automated mines places. It might well be worth doing an asteroid miner. Now, if we are going to create an asteroid miner, what weight are we going to target? Are we going to target the Tokyo, which is a 100,000 ton slipway at Windermere? No more Tokyo. Or are we going to target the Victoria shipyard, which is a 250,000 ton with 2 slipways? I can't believe I did that. I think we will target that. I think we'll make something for that. Okay, what is a mining country? This is going to be interesting. So we need a new ship. This is going to be a asteroid miner. I don't know if we've got asteroid on the list. Asteroid miner, we do. We've already got South African ships named. We could call it. Yeah, I'm just checking. China is massively into mining at the moment, and actually subsidizes a lot of mines in Africa. So we will go for Chinese city names. So rename. This is Beijing class. And we will want asteroid mining module. Now remember, we're aiming for 250,000 tons, so that's 10. That's 30. That will produce 480 tons per mineral per annum. Assuming they're accessibility 1. Now, we could give them a cargo hold. But, quite frankly, the more efficient way to do it is to put a mass driver on the thing and just leave them in orbit. Anytime they're not in orbit, you're wasting them. So we're just going to let them put down a mass driver, or let someone else put down a mass driver, ideally, and just leave them in orbit. So again, they don't need to have a powerful engine, they're going to make a one-way trip. They don't need to be out for a long time. Again, deployment time doesn't actually affect this. Deployment time only affects military ships and survey ships, I think. What they do need is some form of engine and some form of fuel. That's all they need. So we'll get them a large fuel store. I gave them 10. They already have 1. Let's see how that goes. And they need a efficient engine, which is going to be you. More than that, more than that, more than that, more than that. That's more like it. Okay. Maybe you'll take that up to 20. So they've got 20 of those engines. So 50,000 tons worth of engine. They have a range of... That's not enough. So we will increase that range. The range really needs to be pretty far, because they'll be going to some distant places eventually. 200 billion kilometers. And they have spare space, and you know what that means? It means we could give them a small cargo. Now, a mass driver. How big is a mass driver? Because I've got the feeling that mass drivers are small, but I don't know what's making me think that. That could be all wrong. Is a mass driver small enough to fit in a small cargo hold, or do I need a standard cargo hold? It's a standard cargo hold. It's 25,000 tons. Yeah. Well, we could give it a standard cargo hold. And that way it could carry a mass driver with it, and I wouldn't have to send a freighter to do it. Or I could give it another 10 mining. I think the 10 mining is just the better way. Well, maybe not 10. I assume it uses a lot of people. Yeah, look at the crew. Whew, that's a lot of people. Okay. We will reduce that weight a little bit. There we go. 30 astro mining modules. It's got a pretty good range. Over 600 tons per minute per annum. That's good. I like it. I don't think there's any desperate changes needed. We could increase the amount of fuel it has, just in case, since fuel is pretty light. Beyond that... freighters need at least one engineering space, yeah. But beyond that, I think I'm happy with it. Give it a little bit more fuel. Just to get it up to that max. Keep it under the 250,000 ton. Okay. You're good. The Beijing class is huge. And this is almost the stage where we might as well just build an orbital habitat, which you can do. But they're even harder to move around. This thing's big. I like it. Beijing class. Good for you. Let's check the component summary, by the way. Yeah, 76% of the entire ship is just asteroid miners. 20% is engine. Remember that I said that there's that third of a ship should be engine? Yeah. 2% is fuel. 1% is crew quarters, and 1% is hull. I like it. Oh, we should probably lock it as well. Just because I will forget. Lock design. So, we're going to go shipyard, manage shipyard, 250,000 tons, retool for the AM Beijing. And then to build the Beijing, it will cost us 3,000 uranium. It'll pay itself back in 5 years if it goes to a accessibility 1 uranium place, though. Bam. And then the second one, the Hong Kong. Okay. I'm cool with that. You're all doing your secondary orders. The Heisenberg is having problems because it's been out way too long. Yeah, we're going to get the Heisenberg to come back before it has something terrible happen, like, for instance, its engine break. The easiest way to do this is to click Show All Populations and then click Earth. We could tell it to jump through the jump point and then click Earth, but easiest way is to just click Earth and then refuel, find Earth again, resupply, and begin overhaul. Okay. We did our research into Gauss cannon. I approve. And we will queue up the next launch velocity as well. We're getting ready to actually be able to have kinetics. Now, these aren't going to be mostly for anti-ship action. They're actually going to be for anti-missile action. But it's worth having them just in case. For now, though, this is probably a good point to end this episode. We've had a lot of fun stuff to do with missiles, but now we actually got ourselves some actual ships being constructed. It is the 20th of April. They will be out on... Oh, they're so close. They'll be out on the 14th of May. You know what? We might try and push through 1 month to get to the launch. There we go. The pulsars are all built. Construction maintenance facility complete on Earth. Oh yeah. We now have ourselves a fleet of military ships. They're not going to be much use right now. They're system defense boats. They're actually just going to sit around. They're actually not the most interesting. They're going to sit here, and if we get attacked, then they're going to be helpful. But we hope we don't have to use them. As for the construction maintenance facilities, we now have ourselves the ability to handle 10,000 tons of military ship. We do actually have the ability to build up to 15,000 tons though, so we might just link up another maintenance facility and get them to build 25 of them with that 5% just over time. And that'll take 3 years. So now though, we're going to call it. I've been at EnterElysium. We have ourselves our very first military ships. We have some missiles. They are loaded with said missiles. The enemy is nearby. We haven't seen them for a while. We hope it stays that way. It's unlikely to stay that way for long. Till next time, like, subscribe, let me know what you think down below, and stay shiny.